My name is Rip Robertson. I'm with the City of Tucker Parks and Recreation Department, and I'm introducing our mayor, Frank Almond, and he's going to start us off this morning.
Thanks. For myself, partly because this is the first time we've done something like this as a city. We've been involved in a lot of firsts, and this is certainly among them, but also because today kicks off Memorial Day weekend. And we're here to dedicate a memorial of a little bit different sort than the holidays established for, but it's all had me reflecting a bit on why we do these things, what we hope for in establishing a memorial. And as I'm sure all of you are aware and have experienced, we live in a time when it's harder and harder to find a person who sets an example that we can aspire to unabashedly. The name of the game too many times and to our detriment in our current times is to tear people down, to find reasons that they're not worth our admiration or our aspiration. That's to our detriment also. When we establish memorials, it occurs to me there are a couple of different kinds, right? Sometimes it's to remember a bad thing. We want to remember a bad thing that happened so that it's not repeated, and we remember victims and those who are lost. Those can be hard things. And to me, there's often too much focus on that kind of memorial. In a case like this, we want to remember Bill. We want to remember this person. He's not because he was perfect. It's been a while since anyone lived a perfect life. But because he lived a life that was an example for us, that we can aspire to, that we can say, that's a person who we want to remember what they did and how they lived as an example for the rest of us. You know, and perhaps you'll hear some this morning of all the things that Bill did, but he lived a very broad life. Bill was not only a first responder himself, an emergency medical technician right here in DeKalb County, but he helped to train and establish EMT programs in North Carolina and in here. And then he was a volunteer to support all those first responders who came after him. But he was part of the Rotary and a leader in the Rotary. He was part of the Tucker Business Association and the Tucker North Lake CID, but also a leader in those things, also shared his experiences and helped to build the strength of those organizations. He was on the board of the art station. These were all things that he did well before and not with an eye toward becoming a city council person. He became a city council person because it was a natural thing to take all of that experience and all those interests and bring them together for the benefit of all of the rest of us. And so a memorial like this is first for the family. We want to do not the least we can do, but the most we can do to say to the family how much we appreciated Bill, to say how much we benefited from their sharing him with us. And we also do it because we want our children and grandchildren. There's a great legacy here. All the people here who I didn't introduce are friends and co-workers, people who labored alongside Bill in all those pursuits. We all knew Bill. 40,000 people in the city of Tucker, and who knows how many more nearby, who didn't have the real greatness to know Bill personally. We want, when we come by with our children and our grandchildren, and we want when those people see us on Main Street or in a restaurant somewhere and want to know, what's that Bill Rosenfeld Park thing all about? We want to share with them why that was. We want to share with them who he was and say that's a legacy that is worth aspiring to.
Community is what Bill was all about. He loved his community greatly. Every single person in the community was important to him. And he was a man of service, not just Navy service, not just paramedic, not just council, but one who, if somebody asked, can you help? He was the first one to be there to say yes. He was a man that may not have had the stature of the tallest people, but he stood tall among his peers. And we appreciate everything that he did for our city, for ourselves. He and I have been friends for a long time. We were golf partners quite often. And that didn't mean we played great rounds of golf, but we had a lot of fun. And so the crazy part about it is that Bill, when he passed, unfortunately, left a huge big shoes to fill. And I've been working on it. Can't say I've filled them all, but by the same token, he left big shoes, a legacy, and started a momentum of what service to our community is. And I think that momentum will continue.
Even before today, this park was special to Dad and our family. As many of you know, Mom and Dad's house is basically right across the street. His grandkids grew up swimming in that pool and playing on those tennis courts. The wood line here is where they escape to avoid doing the dishes after a family meal. For nearly 2 decades now, this has been a place for us to gather and be with family and friends. So now when we see the name Rosenfeld Park or come to visit, we'll think of Dad and what he meant to each of us. An awesome dad, a loving husband, a humble family man, a great friend to everyone he met, someone who was always helping others, a man that loved his community, the city of Tucker, and worked hard every day to make it better. Thank you.
We are. Well, in honor of our friend Bill, we just pray this will be a long-serving example of a life well lived.